Alright, this is the one you want for billing, for layout interface. Everything associated with that is on this screen for you. We have a 12-inch and a 15-inch. There's about a $100 difference. I would put a 15-inch in every single time. It's just worth it. Our whole interface system, the way you see it here, with the interface, the box, and the software associated with it, is about $5,000. And that allows you full control of your system. Visibility on an iPhone, an iPad, remote access. You can change anything you want remotely. You don't have to go in there. You can monitor error codes, monitor whatever you need to remotely from anywhere. So that really is pretty cool.
So next time you visit, we can mess around with our system in our office.
Okay.
Yeah, because they actually have one of these on there. Here we connect up to 4 interfaces together to give us that big range we've got. The size of it, it's a Windows-based PC basically, with our software associated with it. Okay, with these interfaces that we link everything up on the back end. Similar to basically an electrical panel, about yay big, about what's that? 3 or 4 inches deep. That's the size of the system that you need to put in. Put that in your security room or your building manager room or in your mechanical room, wherever you want to put it, you put it in there, and it's a full touch screen that you can connect to. But if you have internet in your building, here you go, you can connect it from anywhere. So serviceability, maintenance after the fact is really great for clients. This is what the energy consumption output looks like. I know we can't read that, but it's so damn small. Alright, this is a zoomed in version of it. This is just a numbering format, device name. Again, this is just generic. You can put whatever you want, FC301A, B, or whatever you want, right? To dictate where you're talking about. Device ID, this gets generated automatically when the system gets commissioned. That's the IP address. Runtime, this shows you what the runtime is of that particular system. Running electric quantity in kilowatt hours. This is not just the fan and the compressor, and that's it. This takes into consideration the actual consumption of that unit. So we measure, I believe it's 1,000 positions of that expansion valve on the indoor unit. It gets fed into an algorithm, that position. It also takes into account the indoor unit fan operating mode and position and the current draw associated with that. It then takes into account, through a electrical pulse meter, what the outdoor unit consumption is. Based from that, it works out what the position is of the compressor, fans, the whole 9 yards, and it works back what the kilowatt hour consumption is on an actual time-by-time basis to give you a running cost that you can dictate, that you specify. We all know running cost, electrical rates go up, so it's not a fixed rate. You can adjust that, the owner can adjust that. Maintenance cost, that is extremely important. Whether you're in your tenancy or not, if you're on vacation for a month, that's your problem. You're not going to be billed for running costs, but you're still part and parcel to that central system. You still need maintenance on that. So the building owner, in this way, he's going to get a bill no matter whether his system is operational or not, because he still has maintenance costs associated with that. And when I show this to developers, they start smiling, because they realize that now we've taken care of something they would have had to worry about on the back end, to try and get the strata to come in and give everybody a service fee or something like that. They can build it in, they can show them this is what you've got, and they can explain it to a tenant very easily, very simply, and they know it's built in. This gets exported into Excel, and they can convert it however they want. We can build an Excel converter for them if they want that, and they can fit that back into their billing software. Alright, so that's pretty nice. This is what the floor plan layout view looks like. So you give me the floor plans associated with that. We can do it zoned, we can do it floor-based, we can do whatever you want on there. All the indoor units are on there. You click on it, it calls out that indoor unit. You can see what the temperature is, operating mode, set point, time, schedule, everything you can do from there. Okay, that's pretty nice too. Now gateways. We are almost done. Yes, we're almost done. So BACnet and LawnWorks. All right, so these are the 2 different output gateways that we've got. And we don't just have monitoring. We have got some control mode and set point control that we've got. I can also see room temperature. I can see operating position. I can see error codes. I can feed that back out again. So it operates like a BACnet system. Very straightforward. Okay, I don't need to go into much detail. What we offer, I did go that right in the beginning, system design application support. on-site installation inspections. If you have a big tower going up, if you have a small project that's, $100,000 or $150,000, I'm not talking about a onesie, twosie little, mini VRF system. We're talking about a big system here. We'll fly someone up from Texas. It's not an extra cost at about 75% completion. And we have them on site to walk through with the contractor and make sure that the items or issues are picked up on the front end, as opposed to having to go back into suites, back into spaces, and trying to fix it after the fact. So we're trying to protect our name associated with the system. We're trying to protect the contractor, we're trying to protect the engineer, and we're trying to protect the developer. Because at the end of the day, we carry those warranties. So it's in our best interest to make sure it's installed properly. Because that's normally where it goes wrong on these systems. I hate to say it. Contractors are not always as good as their price, fortunately. Commissioning. We don't allow any contractors to commission our systems. All systems are commissioned, and by that I mean startup, checking from evacuation. That step forward is done by Lennox. We've got a big team of technicians that we fly out of our home base out of Texas. So they fly out and they spend sometimes months on site to commission systems. To give you an idea, I recently did a bid for a project up in BC. There was about 780 tons worth of VRF. Big system. So what we allowed for 1 day per outdoor unit. So there were 64 outdoor units on that job. So that guy's going to be on site for 2 months commissioning that system with the contractor. Part of the offering. That's just the way we're doing it. Okay. We need to make sure if even one of those systems fail, it's one of those systems that will cause the whole building to sour, the relationships to sour, the developer relationship with the engineer to sour. And we need to make sure all of those remain intact.
So when you quote a project, are you including that?
Yeah, I have this.
We don't have to say it.
Yeah.
It's included. It sounds bad when I say it that way, but it's just one of those things that's like built into it. It's automatic.
Yeah. I do the quotes for ACI. There's not one quote I put out that does not go in there. We have got an agreement, or we are looking at agreements with contractors where if they've installed 10 of these systems, big systems in the past, we won't be there every single day. Then we can say, okay, well, you've proven yourself to be, Lennox compliant. So they all have to have training anyway. We actually can't sell it to anyone who has not had training. It's an internal block that's out of my control. But what that allows us to do is to reward loyalty. So they would get a reduced, they wouldn't get the whole commissioning fee as a saving for them, but they would get a little bit of a head up because of their loyalty to Lennox. Right. So we would still be there, we're just not going to be there every single day. Okay. At this point, no one in the country is anywhere near that. The most we've got is someone that's done, I think, 8 installations of it, and that in our mind is not enough. And I mean, 8 VRF installation is a few. That's a few installations, okay, for one contractor. We have a 24-hour helpline for any of our contractors, engineers, any of you guys. You've got my number. I'm available in any event, and ACI too. So we're here to help and assist the project. Now, warranty, I did mention 10-year compressor, 10-year parts. And because it's again our product, we make sure we've got all the spare parts of every single component in our VRF systems are available stateside. Whether here in Kent, Washington, whether in our storage facility in Kansas, or in Texas, or California, we've got storage facilities around the country, so we can get equipment to site quickly. Okay. That's it for VRF. Our time is up. I've got 2 more slides here for commercial products, if you guys are interested in that. We've got the mini splits and low ambient version of our mini split systems, single and multi-zone. All the way from 0.75 to 4 ton. There's quite a nice little range that we've got of these units. They are compatible with my LVM. So that central controller I have, if you have a couple of electrical rooms and so on, they're fully compatible with the mini splits too. So mini split, mini VRF, and VRF are fully compatible with that LVM system of mine. Including the MLA, the low ambient version, that's 100% heating and cooling at 0 degrees Fahrenheit. And it'll heat and cool all the way down to minus 22 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay? No wind baffles. Scary, I know. We have commercial equipment. These are predominantly what I see them used for is a low-cost solution for a CRU space or an electrical vault. So we've got cooling only options, we've got heat pump options with multi-stage airflow kits, hot water coils as an option, economizer as an option, so you can really play around with these. And some ideas that we're throwing around is to put these air handlers we have that go up to 20 tons. Why not put them with a VRF outdoor unit? So we've got a kit that we're in development now and should be released fairly soon that allow me to connect onto any third-party coil or third-party air handling unit. So I can actually go and retrofit a chilled water unit with, all you need to do is put a refrigerant coil on there and reuse the existing frame. So that's an opportunity to go higher airflows or from a refurbishment standpoint, deal with retrofits. Okay. I just wanted to touch on the Energens rooftop. We released the Ultra Energens, the 3 to 6 ton. We always had the 6 and greater. But if you have a look at these IAR SEER ratings and so on, they kind of blow the Washington State code out of the water.
Yeah, all the Energens meet the new code.
All of them, yeah.
Do they meet the economizer exception?
They do. Wait, when you say economizer exception, sorry.
I think you can, I can't remember if you can.
Not on a package.
You
Yeah.
can't do it on a package.
But you can add so let's say you are doing a decoupled ventilation heat cool, you can actually still throw an economizer on there, and the economizer does meet the requirements of the new energy code as well. So it's a choice, like let's say you had a 5-ton unit and say that was like $6,000, does the owner want to spend an additional $1,000 for an economizer on there? Now that's still separate from the ventilation system, that's just free cooling at that point in time.
Yeah.
But it does meet all the leakage, fault detection, all that fun stuff.
All right, sun source, solar panels connected onto the roof adjacent to the unit. We run the unit from solar energy. Any overrun on solar energy consumption on the unit, any overrun on that gets pushed back into the building. So that is, if they're chasing lead platinum or lead gold, that's really where the sun source. It's extremely expensive. Let's not kid around here. But it is less expensive than trying to put a pool PV system in on a building. It's less expensive. It's easier to do.
How much interest are you seeing in that?
Well,
Not as much as you'd think.
Yeah.
It's been frustrating because it's got all the inverters built into it and everything. It's just simply
That's micro
literally plugging
inverters.
solar panels onto that thing.
Yeah.
But
Tough
I haven't sold one.
Yeah, we're selling them in California, quite a few of them. We're selling them in Texas. We're selling them in all the southern states, a lot of them. Because of that drive to lead, that lead platinum, and the developers and owners are starting to see, well, they need a certain amount of PV on there. What's the highest electrical consumption on a building? Rooftop package unit. Again, it is dependent on the type of system. So if you just have one panel on a big system, it's not really going to make any difference, right? Where if you have a lot of rooftop package units, like a store, for example, a retail store, then when you're chasing credits, it's a fairly inexpensive credit option for you. But yeah, apart from that, I don't really see, the savings. Yes, you could run it at net zero potentially, but up here with our cloudy skies, with a potential associated with that, I don't really see it, to be honest. But it is a feasible option if your client wants to go lead platinum. Something to do. Prodigy 2.0. This is our newest programmable board, or backnet board, if you could call it that. It allows over 100 control and monitoring points on that system. It is by far and about the most advanced control system on the market for any rooftop manufacturer right now. And it allows, you can pretty much do whatever you want on there. So, from sensors, humidity sensors, temperature sensors, everything you could do in the past and more. Smart airflow allows you to commission the system based on actual airflow CFM rates, as opposed to trying to get on site with an airflow, one of those cones and trying to measure the airflow and commission it in that way. You can actually set return air, fresh air, supply air, and have the system balance itself. So it automatically torques and does everything associated with that on the fan. So that's something nice, I think. And it's got the MSAV, which is the multi-stage airflow, and it's got the humiditrol, which is a dehumidification on there. Now that allows it to go into full 100% fresh air supply if you've got an economizer on there. Right. And that is, in a nutshell, that's my presentation. Any questions?
What's the one thing you took away from the Lennox? From the Lennox VRF?
The backnet lawn works, that's been a problem with some other products. So the controls was interesting. Seems like a good product, and it's, you know, it'll be one application we'll need to do to see what, because that support is gonna be really important.
Yeah, that was what I was hoping you would say, the word support.
Yeah.
Support, services, their mantra.
Yeah, so I had one experience with one of the competitors, and the vendor had recently gotten the line. Training wasn't that great on their end, and so it was a struggle just working with them.
Yeah.
So they didn't quite know how to use the software either, and
Yeah.
so.
I could see that.
Yeah,
And then again, that kind of goes back to why we really liked hitching our wagon to Lennox, because they really got their ducks in a row before they rolled out. We looked at some others, we flirted with some others, and we were just like, these guys have got it together. I don't know how you guys hired the talent that you did, because everybody who works there is talented. It seems like the other places have got the riffraff.
It's a nice place to work.
I think the startup support is a differentiator too, because that's where a lot of things break down. You know, the owner buys the system because it's, you know, the latest and greatest, and then they have it, and they don't know what to do with it.
Pricing has been good also. That's the kind of the shock behind it, because you think about that commissioning cost,
Yeah.
and we've been very competitive on it, so we're happy with that.
Yeah, we have a drive at this point in time, because we're still in our upward spiral with the VRF. You know, we are extremely competitive, because again, it's our product. We don't have to deal with a mothership expecting certain revenue, if I would call it that. So our priority is to increase our footprint at this point in time. It's not where we want to be with price point at this time.
Don't look at me like that. I didn't like that look.
No, I'm just saying, it's one of my, just what I do. No, it's not where we want to be with price at this point in time, but we understand that we need to make sure that we give both service and we make it appealing for clients, because not all clients see service as a value add as such. They can't justify that when they look back at price. Contractors, you know, when it gets to bid day, it's very simple. Who's got the lowest price? Who's going to give me the best opportunity to win this project? And you know, when you're fighting the lowest price battle, it's tough for other guys to do what we do, because I piggyback on our distribution network that we've got. So we have our own trucks that drive up and down. We have our own distribution system on the back end that allows me to shave things down and make sure that we're not, you know, that we have got a lot of avenues of making it as cost effective as possible. It's by no means a cheap system at all, but it's not the most expensive either. So it's right up there. I wanted to quickly show you guys what this little specification selector. This will be the first time you guys see it too.
Let me jump in there. I mean, it's past the time. I think maybe let some people go if they want to go, and
Yeah.
others I want to see that.
Yeah.
Like myself.
But I do need to go, thank you very much.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
I'm glad you're here. You guys are a Cook fans, right?
Yes.
Perfect. I got some questions. I got an application I need.
I'll go with them and look at it. So
Sure,
You
go
show
ahead.
Josh's.
Did you guys met? Do you guys?
I have not. I'm
Oh.
new with this Rick Kimmel. I used to be with the Kent Street, and I moved over here, so this is,
That's my card there.
you're right there. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like one of your cards. Sure.
Yeah.
I tried to download
Get a card on
it.
that?
I grabbed one of those, yeah.
Okay, got it.
Tried to load up the computer fan.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Do you want to have a look at this, or?
What happened was
You
it,
know, I think I'll pass on this too.
Sure.
It won't
When the
take
time
any
comes, I'm sure we'll
You
get.
can just email us and we'll
Fine,
get
educated.
it at you. So in combination with these VRF systems, we've also got the Modine Ethereum packaged with this on the DOS side.
See you on that.
Yeah, I told him you were just right.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for the time. I am sorry I ran over. We skim this down.
Thanks for coming in. Good job.
Appreciate the
Thank you.
opportunity.
If there's anything, either Josh or myself can help you out with, please let me know.
Yeah.
If there are bigger projects, I'm only a short drive away, Josh a short drive away.
Yep.
I like sitting in engineers' offices and helping them out as opposed to doing it by email. I just find it works a little better.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.